never changing, never failing.
All right, welcome everybody to another great episode of the program. And it's more than a joy being here this Sunday morning, impacting our generation. And we bless God for what He has started in the lives of people. And it is impact, impact, Rufai. And what we do on impact is we bring impactation your way, we bring blessings your way, we bring enablement your way, we bring lifting your way, we bring great tidings your way. And it is unprecedented what God has started to do in the lives of His people. We just thank God for the level of impact that has characterized the existence of a lot of people out there. We thank God for the level of grace that has characterized the existence of a lot of people out there. We just thank God for what He's doing. Today, we are going to continue on our series, because my mandate is to be able to increase and improve the population. It is to be able to increase and improve the population insights for God. Because the essence of our life is the impact for God that we make. And the reason why Nigeria as a country is because there are not too many people that truly want to make impact. Mostly in our leadership. A lot of people are not ready to make impact for God in our leadership. So they prefer to do things that are untoward, that are not right, are not perfect, that are sad, to be able to diminish the prospect of other people because they do not understand that the reason for our existence is our impact for Christ. They do not understand that the reason why they are in the position they are today is because of the impact they ought to make in the life of other people. And that's why you see politicians go into power to steal. It is only a thief that steals. It is only a thief that destroys because a thief lacks understanding on how to build. Have you ever seen a thief build anything in their life? They are not known to build. They are known to steal, to kill, and to destroy. That's why you see thieves coming to people's home. They rape people's wives. They do all sorts. It cause pain because a thief does not understand the capacity of building. And that's why it is a pertinent question I will ask today. Yesterday was Earth Day. And I'll ask you, are you making the earth a better place? Are you making the earth a better place? And tell you what, if you are not making the earth a better place, it is for you to be able to repent and come out of it today, and God will give you the victory and make your life better. God does not want the destruction of anybody. In fact, He wants the renewal and saving of the saints. But the truth has to be said, it is because people continue to wallow in their disdain for doing good that makes them perish. The question is, what is the reason for the earth in the first place? If the reason of something is not known, abuse becomes inevitable. Why did God create the earth? Did God created the earth for the glorification, one, of His name, two, for the enhancement of the people? And that's why when you read the book of Genesis, He spent 7 days creating the earth and He rested because everything God created was good. The earth was supposed to enhance the prospect, one, of humanity and glory to God. So, two things is the most paramount factor about the earth is that it must give glory to God. The most paramount factor about anything you do is that it must give glory to God. If it does not give glory to God, then it gives condemnation to God. Secondly, the most paramount factor about the earth's creation is to be able to enhance the prosperity of people. That's why our God started the seed of procreation. He removed the, the rib and turned it into a woman. And when they were two, they multiplied. And that's why he says, we can chase more when we do together. So the other factor is the enhancement of humanity. So the question is anything you do that does not enhance humanity depletes humanity. So the reason for the earth was to be able to enhance humanity. The question you will say ask yourself is that all the things you are doing, how is it making other people better? If your life and your lifestyle don't make other people's life better, then you are a failure to God and to humanity. There are a lot of people out there that all their lifestyle does to make people curse God. Then they have become failures to humanity because of their greed. And also, the reason for the creation of the earth is to be able to protect and sustain it. That's why you should ask yourself that all your activities, does it protect the earth? Things as little as throwing rubbish in the drainage pipe, does it protect the earth? Things as little as not cleaning your environment. Negotiants, we can blame the government for their own part, but we are very dirty. We have an I don't care. There is no place we cannot pee. Echo around when your everywhere. They don't pee everywhere. You are degrading the earth. One day I was driving to work. It was a Sunday morning around Oshodi, and I saw somebody close to that Oshodi main road pull down his pants and started defecating on the road. And I wonder what level of madness is this. So we ourselves we destroy the earth. You can't be blaming government and you be destroying the earth in your own way. There are a lot of people that the dirty water come from their basin, they pour it on the road. So you yourself, you are suspects. There are a lot of people, the gutters in front of their they can't even clean them. At least when we had environmental sanitation, some gutters were still clean. But now people don't even have the capacity to clean the gutter in front of their homes. But these are the same people that will complain about mosquitoes. So the question is, what are you even doing to the earth? Are you preserving it? Are you planting trees? In Lagos now, uh, buildings will go up everywhere. We don't even have too much trees again. Everything has been cut off because people want to live in them. So what are you doing to the earth? I'm sure you are hearing people talk about climate change, climate change as a result of human activities. So that's that about that. But I would like to focus on the first two principal points. The first principal point will be about what to do. Does it glorify God on earth? I'd like to ask you, Mr. Politician, how did you win the last election you won? Can you use the method of winning your last election to glorify God? Is there anything that glorifies God in saying another person is not from your tribal group, you will not vote for them? Is there anything that glorifies God in killing and using thugs and area boys to destroy the unit? Is there anything that glorifies God in beating voters because you want to win an election? And why is it you want to win an election? Because you know that if your party is retained in power, the little bribe you collect, and the little victimization of people you do, you'll be able to continue it. Is there anything that glorifies God there? The so-called position you are in, what have you used it to do? Does it glorify God in any way, shape, or form? The house you have, do you make life difficult for the tenants? So I would like to ask you, what glorifies God about what you're doing? What specifically glorifies God? How many things will you say you have done this week that glorifies God? I'd like to ask you critically. If you want to join me live, you can call from any part of the world 0818-099-1991. It's just for call for this show. I use this number 0818-099-1991. Or you can also call that number, I think WhatsApp, so we can take calls from all parts of the world. So I ask you, what do you do that glorifies God? Even in your family, does your wife thank God for the kind of husband or wife you are? There are a lot of people that even ordinary their wives, they can't make them happy, or their husbands. You are a burden to your own nuclear family. So the question is, does your life glorify God? Because you see, the reason why God has given us the earth is for his glorification. So does your life glorify God? Does the things you do glorify God? And I think you should check yourself, because you see, all my sermons are not for condemnation. All my sermons are for people to be able to introspect. Because see, when you introspect, your life gets a whole lot better. And the truth is, a lot of people don't like to introspect. You know why? Because they are gains for the evil they do. And truly, when you look at it, they are gains. What do they gain? They gain money to be able to buy luxury items they will never take with them to heaven. That's what they gain. Despite the big cars you drive, despite the big house you buy. So are you taking anything anywhere? Because you see, the biggest legacy you can leave for your generation and generations yet unborn is your good deeds. So the question is, what good deeds are you even known to? And that's why it goes back to my analogy of, what do you do that glorifies God? We've been able to assert that the reason why we are here on earth is to be able to glorify God. So what do you do specifically that glorifies God? In your daily life, do you cheat people because you want to make money? Yes, we know economy is hard. Sometimes you make quick gains by cheating people, but I've come to see that you can also make greater gains by doing what is right sometimes. In fact, most of the time. So the question is, what do you gain when you cheat people or try to break them down? As a government agency or as a governor, because the 1970s Land Use Act reposes a lot of power in you. So because of that, you feel you can appropriate and reappropriate every land. So you encroach on other people's land that they've had for quite a while, and you think that because nobody can catch you, and some of you even go ahead to ensure that you do it just before you leave power. But the question is, what do you gain in the end? What do you gain? I can see you, Juliet, Hyacinth Gabo, Mark T, Hyacinth Gabo, Felicia Matthew, Benita BB, Felicia Matthew, Prince Oluwatu Midele. Good morning in the house. Bless you so much. Aniobi Arinzi, I can see a lot of you joining me. So the question I ask you is, what do you gain? Yes, you gain fame. you gain notoriety, you have more than enough money. But hope you know that the money you have, if only when you are dead and you see how your children spend the money, then you will now see that true wealth that is not built cannot last. And because you didn't give the children the prerequisite to be able to run it, and you see, because the money is not even your money in the first place, it's a commonwealth of people you aggregated through dubious means, then you see how they waste your money. So they can't take after your succession. So in the end, what did you gain? You were a big man to yourself. You never lived a free life because you were trying to pull other people down. And when you pulled them down, it didn't still stop God from making them rise. So you think because you didn't sign that paper, you told somebody that they must give you bribe of 5 million naira or $5 million, and you're in government, and you didn't sign that paper, you think the person's future will be destroyed? Probably all the person will just do is that he will look for another business, and when he looks for another business to do, and their life will move on. So invariably, what did you gain by doing all the evil? I think I've got a first call coming in via WhatsApp. If I can take the call in. Hello, welcome to the show. God bless you.
Hello, good morning, Rufai.
God bless you. What's your name? Where you are speaking from?
I'm calling from Germany.
God bless you. What's your name, man?
My name is Christina Odianose.
Christina, God bless you. God bless you.
Thank you so much. I so much love your program. I love everything you are doing.
Thank you.
And I pray this morning that God Almighty will continue to protect you and guide you.
Amen.
Nothing will happen to you in the mighty name of Jesus.
Amen.
Every bit of your program,
Bless you
everything
so
I really
much.
enjoy.
Bless
I'm listening to one this morning now, and I got this number from how you were saying that we can call. That's why I'm calling this morning.
Bless you
I really,
so much.
really appreciate you.
Thank
and
you
God
so much.
appreciates you more.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Don't worry, I will still have a day where I come to see all of you, my great people in Europe, Germany, and other parts. Bless
No
you so
problem.
much. Thank you so much.
All right.
Bless you.
All right.
Thanks. Yeah. So as I was saying, so what did you gain? You try as much as possible to bring people down. You destroy their prospects. You don't allow them move forward in life. Then 15, 20 years down the line, you will see that those people still achieve what they ought to achieve. So rather than you trying to stop them because they didn't give you the bribe of $5 or $10 million, why didn't you just let their lives better? By ensuring that if they meet the criteria, you sign it for them. Because you see, what you forget in a hurry is that the true wealth in life is what you do and impact people with. I don't have all the money in the world, but one thing I have is media. And one thing God has given to me is the power of impactation. And I impact every time. And that's the true wealth. And that's why recently I was abroad, I was in the UK. I was just, taking some time off to see family. And the love I got on the street was very humbling. There was nowhere, even in places as far up as Contour and Fall, anywhere I saw Nigerians, they embraced me warmly. So for me, that's the most important thing about life, is what you can do, how you can lift people up. And that is the glorification of God. Do you make their lives better or you make their lives worse? That's what you should ask yourself. Because you see, the so-called money you are looking for, the so-called fame you are looking for, if it doesn't glorify God or it doesn't make other people's life better, then you will see in the end that you have not achieved anything. You can be a billionaire and you can be the loneliest person on earth. Being a billionaire doesn't mean you will be the happiest person on earth. How to be the happiest person is the greatest level of impact. And that's why I tell people, let your life all rounder glorify God. That's why this year, by the grace of God, I'm planning to go and impact more in my village. I'm planning to build a center. It could be a small bungalow, 2, 3, put books in there, put a library in there, open it up for children to come and read. this year. That's my target to God. Any money I have, I put into that. Set up a computer place for them there. Get fairly used computers so that at least people, you'll be amazed. There are people that have never used computer in their life. You see, because you have access to some things does not mean everything is good for some other people. Population of the world is about 7 billion. I think it's only about 3.5 billion that is online. So where are the rest people? Even phone, you'll be amazed that there are some people that they've never owned a phone in their life. So how can we impact people? And for me, I thank God for technology. I'm here in my house. I'm reaching to the world. Germany calling, everybody calling worldwide. So why can I not use that to impact people for greatness? In the end, while I do that, it has to glorify God. Because if people's lives are better, then it glorifies God. But you see, this concept I just explained, if only most of our politicians understand this, and I tell people that's what I do, the things I do. There's a woman I'll bring on the show by 10 a.m. For the last 10 years, we have been raising money together for flood victims in Benue. Those are part of the things I've been doing. She's gone back to Benue now to run for president. I'm going to do an interview on her. She used to work in Geneva, part of a UN agency before, and impacting people. I remember my former radio station would gather people, they donate to a cause. We raise money for flood victims, the Benue flood that happened. Now for IDPs, I remember how we used impact to be able to raise money for IDPs in Lagos and resettle them in school. I remember when companies call on me and say, Rufai, I want to do a charity, I just bring her in. And I work with a lot of charities in Nigeria, say so. So the question is, does your life glorify God? As a politician, your life will be characterized by the impact you make on the lives of the people. You see, this quest to want to have money, the question is, who do you want to show it off for? For people that will forget you once you're gone, you forget that whatever the billions you had today, people too once had it before. So the question is, what do you want to do? Does your life impact God? Does it make people say, oh, thank God this person lived? Does it impact God? Does it glorify God? So I want you to ask yourself, does my life glorify God? Do I do things that glorify God? Do I do things that impact generations yet unborn? If you are a billionaire out there and all they say about you is that, oh, he bought the best cars, maybe you've not done enough. Question is, how can you do more to be able to glorify God on earth? Because you see, you forget in the end that the best of us in this life, as we are, is when God is with us. John Wesley, the founder of the Methodist Church, says so. Recently, I got a chance to be able to go through the village around Scunthorpe, where John Wesley is from. And I saw a lot of Methodist churches around. There was a village called Epworth. I was in and around an area in Gonnes, close to that Epworth, around the Scunthorpe area. And when you see the level of impact made, then you start to say, oh, what could I have pushed and done better? So does your life, does it push people to Christ? Does it make people happy about God? Does it thank God that you live? See, no matter how you live, as long as you're a man of convictions, a lot of people will be against you. And that's why I don't get bothered when I get attacked. But the question is, please look at the content of the things I say, my convictions. Are there not things that would improve the lives of people? As long as there are things that improve the life of people, then I'm satisfied when critics come. Because sometimes criticism is an affirmation of the fact that you're doing something to move the needle on the kingdom of hell and you're bringing the kingdom of heaven in focus. Jason Kebwe, I can see you. Tari La Parisienne, Bishop Besmond, the Sazwa, I can see you. Olayinka Van Hoot, my sister, bless you so much. So the question is, does your life inspire confidence? I'd like to talk about the next part. Does your life reach out to humanity? Because I'm tying this around today. You know, I've talked about the need to preserve the earth and all of that and the things we do. So does your life inspire humanity? How many people would you say has been inspired by your life? How many people have you impacted? How many schools have you been able to build? How many people have you taught? How many people have learned something new because of you? You know, you can check out this story. It's a very inspiring story I tell. It's about the story of something called the Kinder Express. The Kinder Express was about a man during the Second World War that saw that a lot of Jewish people will be killed, a lot of Jewish children. And he set up something called the Kinder Express, where he was taking Jewish children to England to safety. Many years after, they brought Mr. Kinder in a room, and the room was filled with all the children that he saved their lives. And he was told to turn back to look at those children. And he saw them, they had grown, they had their own children. And they told him, I said, see, sir, this is the result of what you did. Just imagine if you had not done this to save the lives of people. All of this generation will have been wasted by Hitler. See, in life, people will do evil, but also people will do good. But what side do you want to be on? Do you want to be on the side of those that will do evil? Or you want to be on the side of those that will do good? Do you want to save people? Or you want to break people? So the question is, does your life inspire confidence among humanity? Do people get excited about the prospect of what good thing will happen to them when they see you? Or your story is everywhere for destruction, that this person is a terrible person? You know, there are some bosses at work that once they get to the workplace, people start to panic and say, oh, this one, God, I don't like this boss. He's a terrible human being. So does your life bring fear to people, or it brings trust and hope in God? Does your life bring confidence to people, or it brings timidity? There are some of you that feel that the best way to be able to gain advantage over people is to intimidate them. But the question is, what does it do? You intimidate somebody, one, you play them. But there too, they get wiser in the end. And when they discover that you played them, then they don't respect you. And the greatest thing you can lose ever in the sight of people is respect. And that's why you see, I pity most Nigerian politicians. They don't know they've lost respect in the eyes of the young people, the youth. Because you see people to defend your shenanigans doesn't mean you have not lost respect. It is only time that will tell. So you think because you can coerce the elements of everything in your favor, doesn't mean you've lost respect. I mean, can't you see Madam Binani today? Can't you see how much respect she's lost in the sight of me, particularly, and many other people? Only to think because the feminist in me was supporting her and say, oh, it will be good for her to have the first woman elected governor. But if you don't win, do you need to do what you have done? But since she did what you have done, do you see that there's any talk about her any longer? You can see how people lose respect. But if she had lost that election, and she came up and she gave a speech and she said, you know what, we tried so much for the prospect of women. We have made a big dent. We'll come back stronger. Madam Binani will be an hero today. So you see, she had the right to give two speeches. One will have been a speech of after the result had been counted and she lost, and she will have given a concession speech and say, you know what, as a woman, I moved the envelope, I fought for it, and I'll keep fighting. Because what is paramount to me is the emancipation of people in Adama and doing well for them. Today, she will have been an hero speech. But she decided to choose the other speech. The election has not been concluded. 10 local governments to go. Somebody made the false declaration, then she went to give an acceptance speech that is becoming famous today. So you see, people have a choice. But she felt, okay, that's the path less traveled. I can take that to court, and probably if the court gets it in my favor, I can get my way. But what you forget in a hurry is that what path do you like to choose in life? Do you want to choose the path of honor, integrity, and honesty, or you want to choose the path of vices? And it behoves on you. Nobody in this life will choose your path for you. You will make your life what you can make out of it. But people will judge you by the capacity of the decisions you make. Have you ever wondered why God gave us a mindset of our own? You think God, all knowing God, if He wanted to dominate how we think, you think He will not herald how we think? If God wanted everybody for His pleasure, if God was, like any other Nigerian politician that want everybody to succumb to Him, you think He will not just condition our mind to only think of God? And you think there will not be only just saints in the world? But God doesn't act like that. He doesn't act like us. He's very democratic. He gives us the chance to be able to choose and make our decisions and learn through the consequence of the decisions we make. So she had the chance and she chose one. And the question is, there are consequences to the actions we make. So the question today is your life glorifying God? The phone lines are still open. I'd like to engage with all of you, my lovely people. The phone line is 0818-0991-991. You can also reach the number on WhatsApp. You can also call me on local call, charges applied. Let us talk. So the question is, as you are going today, what are your takeaways? If your life is not glorifying God and it's glorifying the devil, you can't stay in the middle. If your life is not impacting generations, then it's destroying generations. As a boss in the workspace, your thrill is also just about, to sleep with women and do all sorts, and you destroy the lives of women. That it? What do you gain from it? Why not impact people? And that's why you see, I've been collaborating with many events like the International Design Conference that we're having very soon in May. And I see people that are doing great things and I support them. I see colleagues that are doing great things and I support them. It's happening at the Oriental Hotel. So if you're a fashion designer and all of that, you just check my Instagram page. You will see the details there. I'm a chief host for that because I always want things that can put people in better conference that can make people connect with each other. So what you are doing, who is it glorifying? God, humanity, the devil? Who is it glorifying? Yeah, the number once again is 0818 0991991. I'll put the number on YouTube. Yes. So I put the number on my private page there. You can also follow that my private page on YouTube before I was saying most of the content still out there. So 0818 0991991. The question is, who is your life glorifying? Samuel Madu, thank you for your prayers that God will continue to use you as a voice for the voiceless. Great work. Who's your life glorifying? Does it glorify God or glorify man? Is it about you and your friends and your cronies? You forget that all the money you and your friends and your cronies are stealing. How are you sure you're going to even have the life to be able to enjoy the money? And trust me, you don't need too much to live these days on earth. Too much food even becomes bad. I can't, as I am today, I can't eat 3 square meals. I went out to do salad chop chop yesterday. I couldn't sleep overnight. So you see, access to food can even become a problem to your body. Oh, Rufai eats more, yeah, eats more. When I couldn't sleep because you see, my stomach size had reduced tremendously since I lost a lot of weight, and my stomach. So there's so much you can eat in a day. There's so much you can drink. Probably the best drink you will need in a day is a very good glass of water, 2, 3, 4 glasses of water. Gets to a time that all your body just needs the ration to sustain. So the question is, what does your life glorify? You are taking all of this because you want to have influence and impact. Impact is just but for the living. You are trying to secure your life that you do not own. The Bible says even the birds of the earth, God knows how to take care of them. So you think He's put you on this earth, He will not take care of you. You think it's by destroying other people that you can take care of yourself? It is the greatest level of foolery for you to think you own your own life. It is the greatest level of foolishness. In fact, I call it degenerative foolishness. For you to think you own your own life. As I am, I do not own my life. God owns the life of all of us. And that's why when I look at it, when you threaten other people that you want to kill somebody, I say you, that you do not own your life. You are threatening the life of another person, the other person too does not own. It is the greatest level of despicable illusion that makes you think that you yourself, you do not own your life. You want to threaten the life of the other person that he doesn't own. So two of you that do not own something are laying claim to what you don't own. Remember the man in the Bible that says, "Oh, I will enjoy myself. I'll do it." It is that same night God said, "I need your life." So what are you fooling yourself about? I ask you, what are you fooling yourself about? The greatest thing you can do in your life is for it to glorify God. I have the podcast out already. I'll put it on Anchor. I'll put it on Twitter. Does your life glorify God? I will title it that way. So when you look at it, a lot of people live in a way because they lack the knowledge and understanding of what their life should be, or what they are here on earth to do. So if it does glorify God, let us know. But if it doesn't, you have the capacity to be able to change and turn it around. If your life does not glorify God, God has given you the capacity today of repentance. Question is, are you willing to take it? Are you willing to reenact that relationship you ought to have with God that you've lost? For whatever reason. Are you willing? This is your chance to be able to do that. But are you willing? You know, I remember a song by a very powerful man of God, Alvin Slaughter, that he says, "What do you have in your hands?" I'm not a great singer. I can use it. If you're willing to lose it, take a bit of what you have. I'll make it grand. That's God speaking. He says, I am El Shaddai, and I'm more than supply of your needs. So that's what God is asking. He said, what do you have in your hands? He wants to use it, but you must be willing to lose it. What are the gifts He has given you that you are willing to lose and use for God's greatness? Because if you are not ready, you are not ready. Like one governor will say, if he didn't dare, he didn't dare. Not that I support all he does, but I really like it when he says that and it cracks me up. So what is it you have in your hands? What is it? I know this is a message that is a sober reflection for a lot of people. So I want you to call me up. 0818 009 1991. What is it about your life now that you're ready to take charge of? Do you want to use it for God? Or you want to use it for constantly the selfish reason that benefits you alone? Trust me, if you want to use it for the selfish reason that benefits you, you won't last that long with using it. We have seen that plot too many times. Worst case scenario is you will live the life, you will die. When you go, your money will be treated in a very funny way. We've had people that built houses that had 60-foot chandeliers in this Lagos and they still died. And life has moved on. We've had people that built houses in this Lagos that as at the 80s, they spent $58 million to furnish the house. And they are dead today. And trust me, they didn't carry the house to heaven. They said you should turn the house into a museum. But how well have they done that? Because you see, all of these earthly riches doesn't take you anywhere. The greatest thing you can have is the power of impact. Yes, we have seen too many. Is it not this Lagos? Yes, too many. In fact, need I say over many of such events. So the question is, what path do you want to take? You want to take the path to victory, or you want to take the path to sorrow, which is acquisition without impacting for Christ? So I put this something on my Twitter and on my Facebook page before I say it. Thank you all so much for being there. Happy Henry Best says, happy Sunday. Bless you so much, my brother. Question is, does your life, does it glorify God? Does it glorify God? 0818 009 1991. I'll see if I can take one or two calls here. You can reach me on the phone lines. I'll be happy to talk to you. You can also call that number on WhatsApp. I'll also be happy to take one or two WhatsApp calls. 0818-099-1991. Then by 10 o'clock, I'll be talking to E.A. Jonathan, and there's a lot we're talking about the insecurity too in Benue. I mean, she ran in this last election, so she sees things on ground. And about most of the charity work we've been doing together for the people of Benue. And I have been raising, very important, vital aid to the people of Benue, despite the killings and all the things happening there. But in the meantime, please, I want your call. I'm waiting to get your call. If you can call me live on the number, I'd really be happy to take your call. 0818. Oh, because we have a lot of people in diaspora, you can put +234 in front of it. +234-818-099-1991. I believe the number is only open during the show time, which is normally from 9 to 11 on Sundays. The number will not be on after the show time. So just to let you know, it's just only open for the show time, which is 9 to 11 on Sundays. All right? I will be expecting the calls. But you see, the good thing about today's message is that if your life has not been glorifying God, you can pray a short prayer today and say, God, I want my life to glorify you. Tell me what to do to make my life glorify you. Hello, wonderful Sunday to you. Hello? Hello? Hello, can you speak up? I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, what's your name, sir?
Yeah, my name is Ivy.
Okay, Ivy, where are you calling from?
Yeah, I'm calling from Ogba.
From Ogba. All right.
Yes.
Talk to me about the message you heard.
Yeah, thank you. I'm just listening to you. First of all, I want to find out, is it Rufai Hussein?
Yes, this is Rufai, yeah.
Oh, great talking with you.
Pleasure.
Actually, we Nigerians, we actually appreciate you, both on television and listening to you now. It has actually shown that you are one of the greatest person we need in this country, Nigeria.
God be praised.
Yeah, thank you. Then the topic you are also preaching this morning, talking about if our lives glorify God. Yeah, like someone like me in my office, I try as much as possible not to preach only about work. I also preach about sincerity, integrity, which is what matters most to us in life. Unfortunately, in Nigeria, we try to bring weight before any other thing. Not talking about integrity, not talking about what people will talk about you. I just believe that even though those politicians at Nigeria here, what they are doing, that they should listen to you, so that they will know that with the word you truly use, that most of them have not respect, that they should also know that there's life after what they are doing. Thank you very much. On behalf of the youth, we appreciate you. And we pray that God Almighty please guide and protect.
Thank you so much. Bless you so much.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Really appreciate this. Thank you so much. Bless you so much. And the truth is, a lot of them live very lonely lives when they leave office. Very soon, you see, you'll soon see all of them. Those of them that were shouting the loudest when they were in office, you see their conduct afterwards. And then the reality will hit in and set in. And when it sets in, they start to struggle. And when they struggle, pain becomes the order of the day. You'll see. You'll see. So, I mean, we've seen, you see, people don't learn from history. And they forget that we've seen this script play out one too many times. And you'll see. In the coming days, you'll see. May 29 just around the corner. A baton will shift. Their phones will not ring any longer. Some of them will stop being governors. Some of them will stop being senators. And reality will set in. The grandeur of delusion will set in. You know, I was in a gathering yesterday and somebody was joking about the past head of states in Nigeria. How in a meeting somebody said something and the head of state asked, "Oh, am I wrong?" And somebody else replied. The person that replied finally became head of state after him. I said, sir, you can never be wrong. Even if you are wrong, you are right. And the person was telling us the story just to be able to show how much power that person wielded. But the person is dead today. Even if all the money he made, yes, and all of that, stored it in abroad, stored abroad, cash banks and things like that. But the truth is, what became of it? This was for a life he didn't own. This was for a future that he was not assured of. And this was for a possibility that I didn't know anything about. Hello, how are you? What's your name, sir?
Mr. Rufai.
Bless you. What's your name?
I'm Chibuzo. I'm Chibuzo by name.
Chibuzo, great to have you. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from UK.
Bless you, my brother.
Yeah, Rufai. Mr. Rufai, I just want to say you're a nice guy,
Bless you.
You give the Nigerian youth hope.
Bless you.
Yeah, that we still have some people who can say the truth, no matter the position you are, no matter whatever.
Bless you.
I so much thank you, because when I don't listen to anything, any channel apart from Arise, and because of you.
Bless you so much, my friend.
Because you give us the true words. Nigeria has frustrated a lot of people to the extent we have no hope in that country anymore.
We just have to keep having hope.
Yes, but when I listen to you, I believe that something can be done.
Yes.
If they can let us know that we have no power in that country, that the power belongs to few people that can decide what will happen. I thank you so much. May the Lord be with you. May God strengthen you and guide you. May all their plans, because we know that the truth you tell people, that many people are not happy about it. But I believe God is with you. He will always guide you and protect you.
Amen.
Nothing will happen to you.
Amen.
Nothing will happen to you.
Well,
you are blessed, Mr. Rufai. I have nothing to say. I just want to hear your voice and tell you that you are the kind of man we want.
Bless you, sir. Bless you, sir.
By the time all these battles are over, honestly, you will stand and see that you will not have time for yourself. People will be around you telling you of what you have done, which you don't even know.
It is well. God be praised.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you so much.
About this program, keep it on.
Thank
As
you
time
so
goes
much.
on, you will see your fans will be around you.
Bless you so much. Thank you so much. Spread the word. Sunday, 9 a.m. to 11. I'm always here. 11 a.m.
Okay.
We just we preach the word of God and also do nation building.
Yes, bro.
Thanks. Thank you so much. Really appreciate you.
Thank you very much.
And the good thing is, in next week, we thank God for growth. And also thank God for our partners at VOP and the work we're doing. So we'll be opening up in Abuja soon to be able to reach these great people in Abuja and environs in the north with this message of inspiration we're preaching. It's going to be same spirit. That's going to be on VOP 96.1. I'm also going to be doing a couple of shows there. So reaching people on terrestrial radio, because on this too we are terrestrial, 90.3 FM in Lagos. You hear us on live radio in Lagos. And also in Abuja, we're coming soon. So we're already on test transmission in Abuja. And we should be up and running soon in Abuja, 96.1. So if you are anytime you're in Abuja, tune in-depth analysis, the truth, fact checking. We fact check one another. You know, the best argument lead on VOP. That's just it. We give you the best quality content, best arguments always on VOP. The VOP family is broadening, and probably some very soon will come to the east to local terrestrial radio in the east. We're looking at Port Harcourt, we're looking at Enugu and the other lights. We keep growing this. Bless you so much. So I will get my friend to join in, E.A. Jonathan. I think I'll tell her to join in now so we can have the quick interview. And so from there we'll take it. Now you can also call in. E.A. will tell us the things she had, been doing in Benue and the likes. Hi, E.A. Good to see you again, my dear.
Hello. Good to see you. Thank you so much for having me on. Can you hear me properly?
Yes, I can hear you. Been a minute, so been a long time.
That's been a long time.
You,
That's been
you
a
know,
long time.
I was just telling them about close to 10 years ago how we raised resource for people, flood victims in Benue,
Yeah.
and how
Yeah.
we did a lot of work with IDP then,
Mm-hmm.
and how we resettled some of them in schools in Lagos. And I just
Yes.
remember how we partnered with this company that's no longer in Nigeria now, Sage. I don't know if they are still here in Nigeria.
I
You
don't
know,
think so.
I'm
I
not
don't
sure
think
they're
so.
still here. We partnered with Sage, and we did a lot of good work to impact lives. And we are just humbled by what God did. So, what
Indeed.
has
And
been up with you?
the work is continuing. The work is continuing. So right now we're impacting well over 200 women and their families.
Oh,
I mean,
good,
since that time, we've probably impacted almost 100,000 IDPs across the country.
great.
And one of the things we always say is, you're one of our champions, and we will in due time honor our champions. But it's been amazing. I mean, even with the last flood last year, I was running for office in Benue. I suspended my campaign,
Mm,
and we were reaching out to displaced persons. So we went to quite a number of states in partnership with the Catholic Church, the Foundation for Justice, Development and Peace Commission. And we did quite a bit of work just reaching out to communities affected by floods in Anambra, in Delta State, in Benue, and in Kogi as well. And then, of course, we also had Lagos that we were reaching out to. So the work the seeds that you planted by really championing us, you can rest assured they're continuing growing and germinating and bearing more and more fruit. So we look forward to doing more.
and I'm really excited, and that's why I said this is a platform I have a lot of control, with. So
Fantastic.
city media, I can assure you, VOP radio, we're on what's it called, on terrestrial radio in Lagos 90.3, and we also have a big following online. As we speak now, I think thousands of
Yeah.
people are viewing us live. They're watching the YouTube. We have close to 40,000 people on our
I'm
YouTube.
glad that they'll get to hear the messaging and just hear about what's going on.
So I also want you to tell me what you learned from your political ambition and how your campaigns went. Then let's talk about the insecurity in Benue, because I know you're on the ground and we are helping give supper and all of that. And if possible, let's give out email addresses to reach you to be able to give donations to what is happening in Benue and all the floods and all the insecurity and all the good work we've been doing for about 10 years out of Benue.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
remember particularly even how we donated clothes, how we use this Catholic church here in 1004 estates
Yeah, to collect to
to
have
collect
the
clothes
collection
and
point.
things like that, collection points.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So well, I think in terms of politics, it was very interesting for me. I think one of the big things I learned was just the fact that we have so much work to do. When we hear that, oh, politics is a dirty game and so on and so forth, I will amend that to say the kind of politics a lot of people play is dirty. We have a lot of criminals in our political space. And one of the things that really um, shocked me was just the level of uh, lawlessness, not following our own rules that we make, and that cuts across all different party lines. Just the lack of discipline a lot of people have. So you have rules about how to conduct primaries, and someone just wakes up and decides, you know what, I don't want this person. I'm just going to do it the way I want it done. And they go around convincing people. And people don't just see that there's a need to follow rules. So that's one thing, and we saw that play out generally, right, with INEC and the IREV and Vivas. So it goes right from the top right down to the bottom and then back up again. So that's one thing. And I realized truly, that mantra people keep saying about the capacity, about the people we need in leadership. They have to be people of character, of competence, and of capacity. It is critical. And that character is that discipline element. You really have to be disciplined to say, these are the rules. These are the kinds of people that we need to have in these places, people who have character. Because no matter what leadership or governorship system you're running, it can be an autocracy, it can be a democracy, it can be, if the people of character are not running it, you end up having one that does not meet the goal, which is really to make sure that there's good governance. So that was one thing I really learned. I think the other thing too is the disproportionate, it's a ridiculously expensive venture. And when it's expensive, I mean, the mindset of so many Nigerians, you want to have a meeting, you have to pay me transport to come and listen to you, talk to me about how you want to come and serve me. You call for a meeting, feed me. So what has happened, and I found, is that the system we've been running for decades, this whole idea of back allocations, statutory allocations, where in a month a state does absolutely nothing, and you just carry money, billions, and dash them from the federal pot, from a region that maybe the oil that is being made or taxes that are being paid in other states and whatever. I just dash them for doing nothing. What that has done has really infected the minds of our people, where this huge entitlement mentality that I don't need to work for anything, I don't need to be adding value. There's money somewhere, just give me money. So they don't even understand. A lot of people don't understand that. So that was one other lesson. One thing I know I definitely want to advocate for, I'm part of a group called Fix Politics, and we really do a lot of work around engaging the citizenry, really pushing for reforms. So the Electoral Act, for example, was quite a victory. Now, of course, is to follow the rules. But the other thing I really want to advocate for is independent candidacy. I know that people have been pushing for that, but I think we need to push more, because you see, a lot of the challenges, and I saw this play out, across the different parties. I'm in one smaller party. My father is in a much bigger party. And I see this across the board, right? It doesn't matter what party it is. Party people feel entitled. A lot of them want to, for them, if people get into power on their platform, it's their turn to chop. So there's that obligation to give party people who maybe supported your campaign or who are officials in the party appointments after people get into office. And that's where we're having problems, because that's how come you have square holes in round pegs. So we're not giving the appointments to the best people who can really deliver and who can make sure that we're performing properly on all indices, on the human development indices, economic indicators, everything. We're not. Instead, we're giving appointments to people, even in critical, extremely critical positions, on the basis of political party loyalty. So that's why you see it across. Everybody's so desperate. People are going crazy. They'll do anything to ensure their party wins, because they expect that they're going to get an appointment, and they'll get in there, and it's not about delivering for the people. It's all about, we're going to chop. So we as Nigerians too, we need to be very aware of this and begin to rise up against it. We are doing that already, but to really up that game and begin to demand performance. And so that was one thing. I think the last thing too that really struck me, and it saddened me too, was just how much neglect our communities have suffered, especially in the rural areas. I mean, I ran in Benue, I ran for a House of federal constituency seat, Kwande Uchongo, which I always say is the most beautiful place in the world. But the access road was terrible. You get from Makudi to this place. It shares the border. Part of the local government, one of the local governments shares the border with Cameroon. It's from Makudi you can get to Bukatu Ranch. It's from Makudi you can get to Taraba and all those places. So you have to pass through those. The road is a mess. It's horrible. And they gave this contract. I wanted this contract to some company, maybe a company called Brockbridge, about 4 years ago, 2019. The value of that contract ran into hundreds of millions of dollars, if I'm not mistaken. And they started work, abandoned it, come back, do this, do that, So we started following up. But what amazed me was just how much as a people we've accepted these low standards. It's almost as if we think we Black people or we Africans or Nigerians, we don't deserve good stuff, right? But it's okay for our leaders to go abroad for treatment. After all, they are the leaders, and they can go to Igbo land, and Igbo land, or when Igbo people come here, we give them the best of what we have. But we're willing to settle. Our environments are filthy, there's trash, and it's all across the country, all across the rural areas. And it's amazing. Where's our sense of pride? Where's our sense of self-worth? We're made in God's image. So these are some of the things that really stood out to me, that really gave me a resolve to say, okay, you know what? We can't continue like this. We have to keep fighting. I didn't win in my election. Of course, INEC logistically messed it up. They didn't do what they were supposed to do. So when people tell me, oh, the elections were well organized, it was free and fair, I think, what bubble are you living on? All across the country, we saw what we saw. I ran for office, and I had 11 other friends who ran, and we experienced very much the same thing. Materials coming late, them not following their own rules, them, some of the people were not even trained, they just got their names put in at the last minute so they can get money. So they'll come. The person that comes to your polling unit does not know how to operate the beavers. You have to start teaching her how to type on a system. Come on. So there was so much that I learned. I'm still distilling. I'm still processing. I'm actually hoping I'll write a series of articles on just the things that really struck me, and I'm taking notes and reflecting. But it was quite a lot. But it was good. I got to see quite a lot of people, meet people, understand the people, and also see the good of the land. So that was a very interesting experience. I'll stop there.
I mean, that's a very great one. But I'll also, like you to talk to me now about the massive insecurity in Benue. 134 people.
So people. Yeah. So
yeah.
people were saying, oh, that during elections attacks stopped. People were in Benue, they never stopped. Those attacks are underreported. Those attacks,
Okay.
and the way the media, mainstream media carries it, they will always say farmer header clash. There's nothing about a farmer header clash. These are attacks on communities with children, women, the elderly, where they are sleeping in the night, and hordes. The last attacks, while I was in Kwandi, which is my local government, on 2 days before election, that's about 23rd of February, I was there in some of the villages. In fact, my second cousin was killed in some of the villages behind the mountains. They don't have network, whatever. 300 hordes of these armed terrorist headsmen, or whatever they call themselves, descended on that community. I mean, they're just terrorists, they're just criminals. I don't even bother myself calling them headsmen or giving them an ethnic coloration. Whatever ethnic group they are, they're just terrorists and criminals. They descended. Now, this is a population, they come with guns, machetes, they hack people to death. It's not a clash. A clash means two people met on a battlefield somewhere and both brought weapons, and we're fighting each other. It doesn't happen that way. So those attacks have been going on for months. So when you hear the outgoing governor, Utom, when he was shouting, yes, he was. And across the state, there are squads of his local governments. He's from Guma local government. They are displaced. There's a place in Kwande called Jatoka. It's actually the homeland of the Tiv people, one of the headquarters of the Tiv people. During the colonial era, it was the headquarters of Tiv land for colonial administration. Jatoka is filled with displaced people. And they've been displaced. Those attacks have been going on. In December, we took relief materials to a particular community. We went because they were flooded, they were affected by floods. But they had even been displaced before the floods by terrorist headsmen. Now, there's a stream that runs through that community. So we were on one side of the stream. Across that other side, we could see bush burning. So as who is burning bush in this area? And they said it was the terrorists across the water, burning the bush and waiting for the water to subside so they can cross over and come and attack. I'm like, so what's going on? Has this not been reported to the authorities? We even raised alarm about it on some of our social media pages and calling for whatever. Sometimes the authorities may come, they may not come. Sometimes they will come, stay for a few days, and take off. Once they're gone, the terrorists come back in. So those attacks have been going on, and they've escalated since the election, almost every day across the state. So in the three senatorial zones, if they're not under attack from terrorist headsmen, even just about 2 or 3 days ago, a young man called Stacey Akume, who also ran for office for Federal House of Reps, so another location around Katinala, he was also now raising the alarm that army people had invaded a particular community called Sankara in that area. And they were just wreaking havoc. So the question is, so there's insecurity. The people are receiving it on all ends. You get the ones from the terrorists, then you also get the army coming in. Sometimes, yes, they do come and rescue and do some work when the people shout it. But sometimes they, for goodness knows what reasons, they'll say, oh, people are keeping weapons here, whatever, and so they're going to come and then you just see all kinds of havoc. So there's insecurity across so many levels. There's also banditry, but the huge one is the terrorist or armed headsmen or whatever they call themselves, sometimes even aligning with bandits to come and attack and kill. And I mean, they're killing. They don't spare. It can be an infant, it can be 2-year-old. I mean, there's a huge genocide going on silently, and nobody's talking about it. So there's quite a lot of
real quick. What I wanted to interrupt you for is so that I don't forget, because I also want to use the show to raise money for people suffering insecurity and banditry in Benue. You give us say so accounts. Can you call it out? Or can you also, call out your number so that people can reach you afterwards if they want to donate, to the cause in Benue and all of that? Like, let me continue from where I stopped. That's it, pretty much. So
sure.
please, and
So
yeah,
of course,
because we need to be able to help these people.
Definitely, we've been taking relief materials and stuff. So in terms of accounts, we have a GTB account. I'll just call it out. Cesar Empowerment Foundation is GTB 01700 89797. Let me just be sure of that, because we've been putting out all these things. I'll call out a number and then I'll call the account again. So the phone number is 0907 0907 615 615 9667. 0907 615 9667. And our email address is info at Sesor Africa. That's SESOR Africa.org. Now, in terms of the account number, I'm just trying to make sure that I have the digits right. So I'll put it up and I'll read it out shortly to all of us. I usually memorize it, but for some reason, maybe because I'm on radio, I've kind of gotten the digits mixed up. But I'll do that. I'll send that out very quickly once I'm done with that. It's GTB. Just a second. That's amazing. This is a number I know by heart, but I've just one digit has just escaped me. one digit has just escaped me, but you come back. Hello, Rufai.
Yeah, I'm back. I'm back now. So
okay.
You call the account?
So Cesar Empowerment Foundation, GTB 01700 89727. I'll call it again. GTB 01700 89727. And that's Cesor, SESOR Empowerment Foundation. We're also open to corporate partnerships. In fact, one of the things we're doing, you can follow us on our social media pages, all at Sesor Africa, one word. So SESOR Africa on Instagram, on Twitter, and on Facebook. And one of the things we've just recently launched is a campaign called the Angel Campaign, trying to really get more consistent support for displaced people. So we're asking people to sign up and subscribe to be regular givers, to give us at least a minimum of 5,000 naira a month, which will help to provide relief materials, also help provide basic access displaced people to basic medical services, and we also support the education of their children as well, either through augmenting their school fees, helping them buy books, or school uniforms, and so things like that. We're running that campaign, and I have some details up. We have details on our social media as well.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah.
That's good. But another thing that you said, I also want to know what are the farming conditions now? Because Benue used to be a breadbasket, but it looks as though nothing is coming out as regards farming
Yes,
because of all
because
this.
a lot of people have had to leave their farmland. So I'm talking um, thousands of square kilometers of farmland. I mean, for example, in my constituency, which is roughly, uh, I think it's about 5,000 square kilometers or so. I would say roughly about of that farmland, there maybe of the farmland, there maybe 80% of that amount is farmland, or 70%. I would say that maybe 50% of it is not being farmed right now because it's just not safe. People go to the farms, women get to the farms, they get raped, killed, their husbands go, their children go. It's the same thing, and there's just we just have to keep talking and keep pushing. But right now, there's not a lot of farming going on, so that's one of the things that's accounting for the food prices really going up because there's just no food coming out of the farm areas because they cannot farm because there's just so much insecurity. And if you go to Benue, they're huge plots of land, a lot of them in very remote areas. So even when attacks happen, before help can come, it can take a couple of days. I remember during the elections when the attacks happened, and it took a lot of the community leaders screaming, the politicians shouting. Then the army got there, but the army got there maybe 2 or 3 days later to go and disperse and chase off these heads, terrorists and armed heads or whatever they were doing. But believe me, in those 3 days, 4 days, they had time to wreak enough havoc. So they come chase people away, and whatever. So that's even for Benue. I don't know if it's raining where you are. There's quite a lot of rain and thunder here, but I hope you
Yeah,
can
yeah,
still hear me.
it's a lot of
Okay.
rain.
So you
Yeah.
have that even in Nasarawa, same thing. So across the Middle Belt, we're seeing Southern Kaduna Plateau. These are the key areas, right, where there's a lot of food production. Taraba, what these guys are doing, they're coming, sweeping people off their land, killing them, and sitting down there, renaming those communities and calling them their own settlement. So this whole narrative that they're farmer header clash, that's not the case. What we're seeing is land grab under genocidal conditions and total communities being wiped out and swept out. In some places they do mass burials and just move on. And that's what we're seeing across the entire Middle Belt, Benue included. And so it's extremely worrying, extremely unfortunate. This has gone on for too long, and we need seriously concerted efforts to an action to stop that. But yes, the food is
I,
affected, and
so is
that's
there
why food is
so is
expensive.
there any okay? Is there any panel? Because you see, I would feel sad that you said that the events are grossly underreported. Probably
Mm.
mainstream media just reports one or two that really makes. So is there like any local outlet that people like us here on VOP can partner with so we can get first-hand information of attacks that are verifiable and we can put them out there so that people can actually know what's going on?
Sure. I mean, there are a couple of groups that are putting together information. So I know I have one or two NGO partners that are doing that. I'll be happy to introduce you to them. But as a result of this being on the report, and I'm actually about to just launch some kind of information service on these attacks. And I'm talking to one or two of my colleagues who were doing some work with me on the field while I was out to make sure that we get accurate information. Because also you're dealing with a heavily traumatized population. So sometimes even when you try and get information, it's very hard because they're moving around quite a lot. One, two, uh, people are also afraid sometimes of talking. So you really have to get uh, very solid people on the ground who can give you the information you need. So I know that the Justice Development and Peace Commission that I mentioned earlier, I know they're gathering information on the attacks on a daily basis. So I'll be more than happy to connect you with them. And then also once we get our own information structure up and running properly, I'll also be able to feed in news directly to you regularly. So we just get a sense of what's happening.
Okay. 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 So if we get that, I want to
Mm.
know, and because we don't talk about mental health enough, can you talk me through the mental states of the people in the state now, and what has this done for rural urban migration?
So, it's the mental state is such that you're dealing with people who are heavily, heavily traumatized. Um, some have just gone blank. So they're in a deep mental trauma. You're dealing with people who have literally resigned themselves to one day we're going to get killed. We're going to die. A lot of people are in IDP camps. The conditions in those places are horrible. If you're driving into Makodi from Abuja, if you look to your left, when you reach places like Daudu, after Lafia, just as you're getting into Makudi, you will see some camps. The tents they have is just like a little hobble of cloth over sticks, and that's where they sleep. Now it's rainy season. It's in fact once you get into that place and you see those places and you see them hundreds laid out across land, sometimes by the roadside. Rufai, you see you will just your whole spirit will just drop. Sometimes I pass through. Yes, we take
Mm.
relief materials there, but there are days I cannot look. I just look the other way. I start crying. You yourself who is coming from outside, you're bringing mental. You yourself, your mind can't take it. So sometimes when we talk, I know somebody yesterday, for example, posted something about the vice president's speech about the ethnic something something something, and we made a comment. And this person, a very close friend of mine, said, we should chill a bit. We get too strong. I said, look, when you are seeing these things, you cannot be quote unquote calm and collected and not be tempted to be extremely just cut to the soul. Because so that's my own. So the people who are living this on the daily, you go in there, there's a lot of hunger. There are people dying every day. So they're dealing with this, they're living with it, and it's almost as if they resigned themselves to it. The other hand, there's a lot of faith. The faith groups still going, trying to do the little they can. NGOs are trying the best they can. And they try. Sometimes you go there, moments of laughter. Like I went one time and they were singing and dancing in one of the communities where they were displaced. And you join in, you laugh, but you cry because you know that it's just so much they're dealing with. So the mental state, we've not even started. I know some NGOs are doing some trauma counseling. Of course, there's a lot of rape that is underreported because you know how the stigma attached to women or children who are raped by terrorists. So there's a lot of that as well that is going on. Sometimes in some of those camps, there are reports of sexual abuse also going on, and sometimes some get investigated, some not. But the truth is, everybody's overwhelmed. The resources are low. People are tired. Even we, the people who are giving care, we ourselves are traumatized, and sometimes you have to pull out. Otherwise, you yourself will just go crazy. And we're losing people. Even some of our NGO workers are dying. So it's a sector that is under siege. The people themselves are under siege year on, year in, year out, and they've resigned themselves to it. For rural urban migration, you have a lot of people coming into the urban area. So you see, like I said, Jatoka is a town in Kwande local government. It's filled with IDP. They come to Makudi,
Mm.
same thing. So a lot of them go to live with
Mm.
relatives or just roam around. So you see what we never saw before in Benue 10 years, people begging, children begging. This is Benue, the food basket of the nation. People begging. So things are really at a critical stage. And we need all the help and we need all the attention we can get. It needs to change. Let me stop
Oh,
there.
okay. Please, can you read out the account number for Say So once again? How people can get in touch with Say So and all your, contact detail via email and everything, so that because we have a very big
So,
international community listening to us, we get calls from every part of
yeah.
the world. And we've
Okay.
close to 1,000 people live live as we speak, from all parts of the world.
Fantastic.
So
So,
And
so if you're
apart
in,
from that, this is also going live on terrestrial radio in Lagos.
excellent. So if you're in Nigeria, it's GTB, Guaranteed Trust Bank, 01 700 89727. I'll read it again. GTB 01 700 89727. That's Teso Empowerment Foundation. Our email is info at Sesor Africa, SESOR Africa, that's AFRICA, one word, .org. Info at sesorafrica.org. Or you can also follow us on all our social media channels at Sesor Africa on Twitter, on Instagram, and also on Facebook. You will find us there. Like I said, we've recently just launched a giving campaign where you can sign up to give to us regularly. And you can do that through Paystack. I'll just use paystack.com/pay/Sesor Angel. So SESOR Angel. Again, is on our social media. And in terms of a phone number, you can actually reach us through either 0802 314 3068. That's one of our official lines that you can reach us on through there. And of course, if you're outside the country, it's +234. It's also on WhatsApp. So it's +234 802 314 3068. We have
Okay.
other numbers as well,
So
but that's
another work we did 10 years ago is on the influx of IDPs to Lagos. Remember, we resettled them in a Catholic church in Lagos, and there was another school down that at Bajuleki area that we went that day.
yeah.
How is that woman doing? With that, I
Okay,
think
so
there was around yeah.
the premise of that partnership. Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead. Just talk to us about it.
Okay, so the premise of that partnership was with a school down there who had offered spaces for our displaced for some displaced children and took up for them who fled from the northeast into Lagos. And they actually got educational support and they stayed in that school for the truth is that we had about 70 something children, and the funding requirements were totally very, very, very hard. Now, we were
much to be done. And, I think we'll also, since this radio station too will have a place in Abuja soon. So there's a lot we can also
Great.
push, around the north. And, we'll set up in Abuja and just to be able to raise awareness about this issue.
Excellent. Thank you
Thank
very
you so
much.
much.
All right,
Yes,
then.
bless
Thanks
you.
a lot. God
All right,
bless.
guys.
Thank you. Have a great Sunday.
Today. Happy Sunday to all of you. I'm sure this has really blessed a lot of you watching.
Happy Sunday. All right. Bye.